friends. This is Eleonora Grace from Grace Through Journey. Welcome back for another episode of Voice of Truth here. Well, I have another amazing guest for you. He's all the way from Australia, and his name is Gary Bates, and we met online, and he is a holistic coach with a passion for helping individuals achieve their optimal well-being. And I would like to welcome you guys to Gary Bates. Welcome, Gary Bates.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, we've been planning this for a while, and here we are finally. And yeah, I really love the topic that we're gonna explore today, which is emotional intelligence in life, love, and business. And I have a passion about this, especially for men. And it's a long story, but I'm gonna cut it short here. It's because I think men need it more than women. I mean, we all need it, regardless the gender. And this topic of emotional intelligence is really hit homes for me. And also Gary here is a perfect example who embody that emotional intelligence in his field and private practices. So Gary, are you ready for my questions?
Let's go. Loaded and ready.
All right, but before I start with that, I would like you to share with everybody who you are and what you do, and a little bit of background about yourself.
Okay. So I'm Gary Bates. I work as I did a Bachelor of Health Science as a musculoskeletal therapist. And just over the years in practice and treating people, I was noticing how much people would hold the energy in their body through different injuries and things in life, whether it's pains in shoulders and stuff, and how much of it was emotion, which to me is basically energy in motion. So it was a case of putting the mind, the body, and the spirit together.
Yeah.
To me, to be able to get people to get over their injuries, or just these long-term illnesses and things like that people tend to carry around with them. So yeah, I kind of put all that together, and it got very much into holistic health coaching. So I did a lot of men's work. Many years ago, I started with a mankind project. So I used to sit in circle with the men, and I would sit there, and it's a great place for men to go and get started, to sit in circle and just talk and air their problems in a safe place, where just men can be men. Yeah. So it was. I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear that. The parrots are going mad outside.
Amazing, I love it.
It's like we've got our own little cheer squad.
Yeah.
It's But yeah, so I would sit in circle, and I would see the same men come back in, week out. And it was a case of knowing that, we also need to release that somatic energy, that stuff that's trapped deep in our DNA and into our cells. So yeah, for me, it's a case of putting that all together. So through movement, breath, through the talk therapy, is to really assist people in their finding themselves, really, and just giving them the ability to heal themselves. I mean, I think as humans, we've been blessed with like the best pharmacy in the world. Yeah. So it's a matter of changing that. You can change someone with depression. I mean, if I look at it just from the gut alone, if I think about 50% of your dopamine, like 70% of the serotonin, where your immune system lives, it's all in the gut. So to be able to give someone breathing exercise, different myofascial exercise to clear all that, and then you talk about the therapy, and they're able to access those emotions. And it's been a very powerful way to help people clear their problems in life.
That sounds really, really intriguing and interesting, because you not only, I mean, you really educating people to really study who they truly are, not just.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And you see it within, from a therapy thing. Like if someone comes to see me as a musculoskeletal therapist, it's like,
Mhm.
I need to teach you how to fix you, because then it's a lasting, otherwise people want to come and see you every week for the rest of their life. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's not what I want. I want to be able to teach people how to heal themselves, because
Mm.
we're blessed with, just very powerful bodies that we've been given, and we can change our lives, change our world, just through simple techniques.
Yeah, exactly. Like for men, like how do they, like if I may ask you, how do they find clarity on mental, I mean, especially mental clarity, what you're talking about? Like how do they even start, you know, educating
Yeah,
themselves
I think
when it comes.
the first thing to do with men is you kind of, it's really important, is around trust.
I like that.
And I think that's what a lot of men lack, is
Yeah,
we live in a world, and they don't trust the world. So it's about building trust within each other,
each other.
and
Yeah.
then you can slowly try, and different people. I've done a lot of work with military. I used to work for a charity for years called Mates for Mates here
Wow.
in Australia.
Yeah.
So I see a lot with the Defence Force, how, lots of men and women would come back from war and very, very broken. And it was about changing their posture. It's like, I tell people, when you feel down, your body is down, and you're looking, you see the world in a different way. So
Yeah.
to open up the body, you then look at the world in a different way. And it's about finding that trust back in the world, and to be able to look at it and know that, not
Mm-hmm.
everyone's trying to kill you. To be able to settle that down and then settle their nervous systems down it was a game changer. And it was, I mean, for me, it was very beautiful to be accepted. I mean, you've got a military family, you'll understand it. That
Yeah.
a lot of time with military, it's like, well, I think when the guys and girls go in, it's like, well, this is your new family here now, and you trust, you've got your brothers back,
Yeah.
it's like, this is just us, this is the unit. And it's very hard for them, especially at the end of their careers, to then lose that family unit and to come out into civilian lifestyle, and the lack of trust of everyone. So I was very blessed in that sense, to be brought into their circle and to be able to earn their trust, to change them, and then to be able to help change their lives, or to teach them how to change their lives, I should say.
Well, it's good that you mentioned the word trust, because trust is such a big, big word for most people. They don't even know how to like break the patterns on that. Like meaning, how do you even embody the trust in you when it comes to dealing with stress management or overcoming limiting beliefs? Do you have
Mhm.
any like to the people who are listening here, especially men, who like, do you have any like holistic practices in order for them to bring trust within
Yeah,
themselves, so that they don't become defensive about it?
yeah. I think the first thing to do is become present, and the best way
Mm,
for us to become present is to breathe and to feel our breath. And there's some really simple, just for example, like a box breath. So if I breathe
wow.
in through my nose
Yeah.
for a count of 4, and I'll hold that for 4 seconds, and then I breathe out for 4 seconds, and I hold for 4 seconds, and I
Mm-hmm.
just keep doing that breath. The breathing in through the nose will stimulate something called nitrous oxide. As it comes up, it touches these tiny little hairs, but it also allows us to get more into the parasympathetic.
Oh
So a
yeah.
lot of time that we live, especially, you see it, I see it in a lot of men within practice, we're in
Yeah.
that fight or flight constantly. I mean, we live
Yeah.
in a society where you're on your phone, everything's busy, you're in traffic. It's a different kind of fight or flight now. So the box breathing is really good, especially with the nasal stuff, to
Mm-hmm.
then bring them down, to become present, to start to feel their own heartbeat. And once you are present, you start to look at things in a different way. And as I say, it just brings you straight into that parasympathetic. So probably one of the easiest things would be the box breath, to
Box
to really
breath.
calm someone down. Yeah, it's such a simple, easy technique. And everything I do is, it's not something you got to go and buy. It's stuff that we've already got.
Yeah,
And this
something
is
to
not
quick.
something that I've made up. You know, this is something
Yeah,
that cultures for thousands and thousands of years have been doing.
yeah. Wow. I think this is one way to regulate emotions, especially for men, like to understand their
Yeah.
emotions.
Well, if you when you start to breathe and you become present, you then all of a sudden you feel into that emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, anger's not a bad emotion. It's how you let that anger come out. Like I want to have anger. Like as a person, I want to know that if someone's hurting my children, I can draw that anger out of somewhere and I can protect my children. You know, it's a necessary emotion for everyone.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's how you deal with that anger. If all of a sudden someone's saying something to you and you become triggered and you're like, well, then you're not dealing with it. But if I
Yeah.
feel it in my body and I'm like, oh, why did I feel that? And then, you know, because I'm present and I'm breathing, I feel it and I'm like, oh, what is it inside me that I need to change? Because
Great question.
strangely enough, if someone is able to make you angry, they also have control of you. Maybe I'm a control freak, but I don't like people controlling me. So I, so I
So
like to be in control of myself.
yeah, that's the bottom line. It's learning how to master your own emotions, right?
Yeah.
And then, so how do you redefine the strength as a man if you want to really master their emotions?
How do I redefine strength?
Yeah, like,
Like,
because for example, like, because the world has taught man that man shouldn't cry.
yeah.
They should suppress their emotions. So how now can you help other men when they come to you, man to man? Like, how do you redefine strength in men?
Yeah, I think it's about that. It's a conversation, you know, and every conversation is really unique. There's not like
Mm-hmm.
a cookie cutter system because we're all such different, beautiful individuals. But it again, it's about that present. It's about what you're feeling, where, you know, why, if you're feeling in your heart. And then yeah, we talked about trust before, but it's about trusting yourself. Trust
Yeah.
myself not to feel embarrassed. Trust myself not to, you know that I'm going to be in trouble because a lot of this comes back to the inner child wounding.
Oh, I like
Uh,
that. Yeah.
yeah, and that's where I guess most men, as you say, with things like men don't cry, have been
Yeah.
programmed. But it's funny that, as I say, I mean, I've worked in a lot of circles to when men are in a safe place, they'll
Mm-hmm.
cry, they'll cry,
Yeah.
and I can tell you that there's nothing more therapeutic for all of us, men or women, is to
Yeah.
find yourself sometimes in that fetal position on the bathroom floor, just having the messiest, snottiest
Yeah.
cry.
Yeah.
Because
Just to
for
feel
me, I
safe.
see it as a detox. Our body
Yes.
is magic, you know. I don't get, I don't know. I like to, you know, it's not about getting sick. I feel like I'm getting well. If you're sneezing, if you're coughing, you're getting things out of your body. As I said, the body's such an amazing pharmacy. And
Mm-hmm.
part of that is crying. It's like
Mm-hmm.
a detox. The fluids are coming out of you. The mucus comes out of you and it allows your body then to flow. And
Yeah.
when your body flows, you just feel better.
I like when you said detox. Is not many people actually do a detox in within themselves, and so that they can add trust, right?
Yeah. But you got to have that mental, emotional detox because, and this is the issue. It's like, you know, when you say boys don't cry,
Mm-hmm.
men are taught to push it down, push it down, push it down, push it down.
Yeah.
Well, the pressure builds and builds and builds. And this is what we see is the explosion.
Yeah. Stress comes in.
Yeah. So the more we get out, it's interesting when you watch most other mammals within the wild, you know, like the lion chases the antelope and you watch the antelope gets away and it twitches, it moves and it shakes the energy out of its body.
Yeah.
And then 5 minutes later, it's grazing, eating the grass because it's forgotten about being chased by the lion.
Oh,
Whereas we as
interesting.
humans keep this stuff in. We don't. There's an interesting a thing I get people to do is called TRE, trauma
Theory.
release exercise. There's
Yeah.
a David Badali, I think the guy's name is,
Yeah.
and he teaches people to shake. So there's 7 exercises that you do, and you get down, and then your body goes into this
Shaking.
natural, yeah, and it gets the energy out of your body.
Hmm.
It's really good for like PTSD and things like that.
Exactly. Yeah, and
Hmm.
speaking of those PTSD, like people start labeling themselves with that, and then they become entitled. Oh, I have this, so they use that as a story, so they get stuck with it, and which
Yeah,
is not really good. Then you forget how to master your emotions again. Then you're back in circle, right? Like
big
insanity.
circle. Yeah,
Yeah. So
seen it
when it
many
comes,
times.
yeah, so when it comes to that, the word vulnerability comes in my mind to okay we have discussed about the life in general about EI, right? Now let's move on to about the love relationship, emotional intelligence in love relationship, because a lot of people have been asking me too, like especially men, like communication skills in their love life relationship with their loved ones, with their like their children, right, or
Hmm.
with their partner, right? So
Hmm.
do you how does I mean, especially for men, how do they become vulnerable and trusting themselves with their life partner without trying to just show up there like I'm the man in the house, I make lots of
Hmm.
money and all that stuff, but like
Well, again, it's to me, it's about the being present.
yeah, it's always about being the present, right?
If I'm present and I'm looking you in the eye and I can feel and I can see your emotion, like as a man, if I've got enough love for you and I can see you're getting upset, it's like, well, what can I do to change this? How can we do this? And that's what the intelligence is for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the, you see it a lot with I think with both sexes is we live in a disposable life sort of style now. Everything's kind of throwaway, and people don't take that time to be present, step back and say, what can we do to change this? Because that's all it is when you're present and you can be, there's a calmness and you come from an open hearted love.
Mm-hmm.
And that interaction should be in everything. It's like when you go to get your coffee in the morning
Yeah.
and you may see that your barista's a bit like, and you can see, there's
Yeah.
small little things that we can do in life to
Yeah.
change someone's the rest of their day, rest of their life. So for me, that's a super, and there's a vulnerability about being present, and I think that's why so many of us put the wall up.
Mm-hmm.
But if you come with an open heart, and it's again, it goes back to that trust, because
Yeah.
I think the most of it comes from I'm going to get my heart hurt, and
Her.
that's why people
Yeah.
put walls up. They don't. I often coach people around the difference between walls and boundaries.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, so most of us in society have walls up around our heart.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a boundary. A boundary is for you. A boundary is a line that you don't want crossed, and then
Yeah.
you can accept. I think about it in like in Australia here, we have cricket. So the boundary is it's a rope, it's a line, it's something you can step over
Yeah.
and you can move back. It's not this big physical wall that you have to knock down, climb over, get around.
Yeah.
If you think about the etymology of those words, they're all kind of negative and difficult. Whereas to just kind of walk across, but you set boundary for yourself. So if you can break down your walls but still have boundaries, and then be present with an open heart.
Yeah. Just a second. I'm gonna post it.
Okay,
Yeah, sorry about that.
that's all
Yeah.
right.
So
I'm surprised mine hasn't gone off more. I remembered to put it on silent on the mobile, but
I did it at a
because I'm on the
landline.
laptop, I was like, oh, did I turn off all my like boop,
Yes.
boop.
Anywho, to go back to the boundaries, because so many people are very empathetic, and I do agree with the boundaries because
Mm.
I prefer setting boundaries before I empathize first as well.
Well, if you think about what empathy is, if you
Yeah.
break it down for the etymology, so in Latin, the M means to be as one. So when you're empathetic, you are like, if you and I were having an argument, I'm seeing where you're coming from. I understand. I feel that, like I can see that you're emotional about this, or maybe there's some sort of anger, or that's what empathy is for me. Is to be. So it's when we become one.
When we become one. I
Yeah.
never
Where if
heard
you
of that.
think, well, and then if you think of the synonym, you change sympathy. Sim means to be one. So if I'm sympathetic for you, I feel for you. When
Mm-hmm.
I'm empathetic, I feel with you.
Hmm.
It's interesting when you like. I love the etymology of words. I think
Yeah.
words are spells,
Yeah.
and there's lots that we use in our language that we could. I know for me, and there's lots that I need to change. Sorry, I should speak in I.
Yeah. Yeah. So where, like you said, being present, and then that leads to trust, but there must be a pattern out there or tool in order for people to be present, because now, I mean, a lot of people would refuse to be present, because they're probably still working on their inner childhood too, but they don't even know if it's inner childhood, right?
Yeah, we're multifaceted beings, though. We can multitask. Like, for me,
Yeah.
you can do all those things at once.
Yeah, so when you wanna open up, like, for a man, like, especially for their kids, their loved one with their kids, like, how do men apply understanding, listen to understand, rather than demand something out of the kids? How do you apply emotional intelligence within themselves in order for them to listen to understand in front of their kids?
Hmm. Well, I would say, I mean, for me personally, it's not just about, so listening is so much more than just hearing. It's about, again, and that's where I find that I'm quite present, is that I look at where your body language is, I look at what's going, I see where the emotion is. It's not just about hearing the words. So listening is everything. You can feel it. I mean, if you think about heart coherence and how far that will spread. So that's the thing, is again, for me, it's about that being present in yourself, and just when you slow down and don't react, then that's when you come from a place where you can actually really listen rather than
Mm.
just hear. I think most people hear, and I guess when we hear, we want to respond. And that's where most men get ourselves in trouble, because we're a very logical kind of a being. We
Mm,
want to, by nature, we want to
yeah.
fix and help. But what I would like ask men to do is sometimes, and I'm a work in progress. I'd love to tell you that I've got this, but every day is, for me, it's about learning a bit more and becoming it. It's that slowing down, listen, and
Yeah.
then you ask questions. It's like, do you want me to help you with this, or do you want me just to hear your words? Do you want it's find out, stop projecting what we feel.
Yeah.
If I do this for you, this is going to help you. You might
I,
not want that help.
yeah, I like that, because you just said it, like, ask questions instead of assuming,
Mm.
how that person feels. That way you're not disregarding how they feel, because you ask the
Yeah,
questions, like, okay, I hear you, I feel you, and to get clarity is just ask that simple questions, right?
yeah.
Yeah, in order to be present. And I like that. So in emotional intelligence in the love life department, and how do men feel when it comes to applying that being present with their partner, like so that they don't feel rejected, or they don't feel like they have to
Well, I think
assume.
I think that if most men are present, they'll feel something really quite different, because all of a sudden, when if a man can be present, it's amazing how much the woman beautifully opens up.
Exactly. Yeah.
So again, it's just be present.
Yeah.
The feel what's inside you. That's the other
Yeah.
thing I think as human beings that we need to do is realize that everything is
Okay.
about everything is about us. It
Yeah.
starts, it comes from here.
Yeah.
Like we do tend to live in, well, that's your fault. I did this because you did that. It's like, what a load of rubbish.
It is a lot. So my next question is, I would like you to fill in the blank. I'll say half of the sentence. Let's just play a little bit of a game here. All right.
Oh, this,
Just
this
give.
sounds dangerous.
All right. So when men feel, a man's attention is captivated when.
A man's attention is captivated when he is present and he feels heard.
Hmm. I like that. All right. Sounds amazing. So okay, the next one is, a man's brain releases more dopamine when.
When he's enjoying life.
Hmm. Was enjoying life. Is it because they feel more alive, or?
Just your body will hormonally do it. When you feel alive. So for me, I love hiking. I live on a beautiful mountain. Like the dopamine that I release when I'm getting underneath a waterfall is just amazing. So your body will naturally produce it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're happy and fun things are happening, yeah, you'll.
Okay, speaking of happiness, when you feel happy, a man's heart races faster when.
I knew you were going to get me in trouble somewhere. A man's heart raises faster when, I think, when he feels true love from his woman
I
or
like
man.
that. Let's say that again.
From when he feels true love from his woman or man.
Yeah, that's so true. Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, I mean, okay, last one. Are you ready for this?
Go.
Okay, when a man is looking for a long-term partner, he does what?
Oof. This It's going to be different for every man. But are you asking what I do if I was looking for a long-term partner? So if I'm looking for a long-term partner, I want to find someone that I feel a connection energetically with.
Hmm.
When my heart can connect to someone, and I know that it won't connect to everyone.
Yeah, I like
That's
that
that's for
because
me personally. I don't know,
no,
like.
I like you brought that up because this is where I'm getting at. Like, because every energy is sacred, and
Mm,
and people ask, like, how can I apply emotional intelligence when it comes to love life? And I always say, where's your energy leading to? It's not
mm,
about just the physical attraction. It's not just about the status quo, but it's about energy, because energy doesn't lie. And if you treat
yeah,
someone with respect about the energy, and to me, it's not just emotional intelligence, it's just self-respect, and that's how you build trust and being present with that person in front of you, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so sacred, yeah, sacred energy to me too, like, yeah, the patterns of that. So moving on to business, emotional intelligence in business.
Hmm.
You're in business or in a holistic approach. So how do you apply emotional intelligence when it comes to different clients? Because they come to you with different emotions. Like, someone may be going through tough times, or like, do you have any like clients, like, without mentioning their names, like, they're going through tough time, and then you feel it in their body, like they're, like, how do you help them calm them emotions down, like,
Yeah,
in
I
business
think
when it comes.
again, it's about bringing it back into them, and I've done quite a lot of Joe Dispenza work over the years
All
and
right.
been on the different courses. He talks about 70% of our memories are probably made up by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
That we distort things and we change them. And I find that a really interesting concept. So I think it's about bringing people to realize things like that, to just know that if you are in the present, then the past doesn't matter and the future doesn't matter because it's the here now. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can't change yesterday and you can't change tomorrow, but you can change right now. So to bring them into like a present situation, relax again, is that get
Yeah.
back into the body, feel your own body, and then to have that different perspective to be able to look at, be grateful for what you do have. Some people come in and I'm like, well, do you know what? You've got enough money in the bank to come and see me. You came here in a car. You just messaged me on the phone to say you're going to be late, or like think of all the things that you have in your life and be grateful and thankful. And it's a beautiful place to start is with gratitude and to bring
Gratitude.
people into that present. Yeah, and just I think the other thing for me is to, as I say, everything is energetic.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to me is to live that life as well. Like, and I do. I wake up every morning. I live in a beautiful valley, and I feel grateful for my life.
Mm-hmm.
Is there things that I still want to change? Yeah, I mean, I'm still not flying to Europe first class, but that's coming. It's it's like it's
That's right.
just yeah. But you be grateful for what you have.
Be grateful for what you have.
Yeah.
So when it comes to being grateful, going to building the life you truly want, not just in business, but in your personal life as well, what is finding purpose mean to a man?
Look, it's going to mean something different to every single
Yeah, yeah,
man.
for sure.
Um, for this one, for this man, I feel like my purpose is to be on calls like this and to help people and to teach.
Mm-hmm.
So it's to live your purpose. And when you live it, like I'm very keen. I do a lot of work with something called the Gene Keys. My life's work there, and my purpose is when I'm in my acidic state, is
Mm-hmm.
intoxication. You know, it's like 7 o'clock in the morning here, but I feel good because we're talking about and teaching things to
Yeah,
people. And I love that. I love that in myself. So
yeah.
that's about finding your purpose. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, maybe my purpose is to be intoxicated, but not through substances. It's just through what's actually inside me and helping people.
Wow, that's beautiful. So what advice would you give to the man listening out there about how to cultivate and regulate their emotions as a man?
Hmm. I think that it's to ask themselves questions.
Hmm.
You know, go on a walk, find somewhere quiet, do exercise, do something that where it's just you, and just walk and like
Yeah.
ask yourself, why am I feeling that? Why, just become that why kid. I've
Yeah.
got 3 kids and I've loved the fact that all of them have been like, why? Some people, they talk about it being, no, I'm like, no, you keep asking.
Yeah.
Uh, I think that we as human beings, we need to be more curious in life
More
and,
curious.
ask yourself, why am I feeling like this today? And then when you ask yourself why, it's like, make sure that when you're wise, when you're asking, if you're blaming everyone outside you, then that's when you need to bring it back in because everything that happens to me is because of me.
Yeah. Perfect. Amazing. Well, Gary, where would people find you like when if they want to reach out to you for what for your services? Like
Yeah, probably best page just on social media. So if you have a look on Facebook, it's Gary Bates, and on
Mhm.
Instagram, it's Gary Bates for MST. So the MST was musculoskeletal therapy, but now it doesn't make any sense to everyone.
Amazing. So
Many years ago, yeah. Just reach out to me. Like, I'm happy if anyone's got any problems or they need a chat. Like, just message me. We can have a chat and then we can talk. And I'm happy to help people. I've got a lot of free content on my social media stuff. Just so yeah, a lot of it is around these kind of subjects of how to do it. Lots of free tips and tricks of how you change things in your life, and just the simplicity of it.
perfect. I love it. So one final question. What is emotional why is emotional intelligence important for men too?
Emotional intelligence is important for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
but emotional intelligence allows us to be in charge of ourselves.
I like that. Yeah.
Because I mean, it's like we sort of spoke earlier about with you know, anger, and anger being a good emotion.
Yeah.
You need anger within you. It's been given this bad name, but because it's been misused, people are not in control. And if you're in control of that and you feel it come up in your body and you ask yourself why, that's when you're able to make changes.
Perfect.
So
Sounds
I
good.
feel that we all need it. It's not
Yeah.
a male thing. It's not a female thing. It's a human being thing.
I love that. Yeah, definitely.
And I think it's great that you're doing this and getting this out there and helping people with that. Yeah,
Well,
amazing.
well, thank
Good
you
job,
very
yeah.
much. Thank you. And yeah, thank you for being here. And I look forward for more in a different topic. And yeah, so thank you for your time, Gary. And you guys
Pleasure.
just reach out to Gary.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Time for coffee and breakfast for me.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you, guys. See you next time.
Thank you.